Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You're sitting waiting on something and it doesn't happen, and then you're sitting watching YouTube videos and you forget to go live. That's how it happened. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. There's some bad news with regards to Jota this evening. There's a couple of bits of other Celtic news I'd like to go over tonight as well. A couple of stories that may interest you when it comes to Celtic. Is this actually live? Yeah, it is, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, it's all live. Anyway, the first one that I want to talk about before we talk about the Jota situation, and a big shout out to Celtic Share for breaking that story this afternoon. A lot of people have been asking where Jota is. Where's he been during the celebrations? And he's had some pretty bad news, but it's not all bad news, as they say. One player that seems to be loving his time at Celtic right now, and some fans say that he's pretty crap, is the big man himself, Austin Trusty. Austin Trusty has been talking about the gaffer. He's been talking about Martin O'Neill, and he had an interesting story to share about Martin O'Neill and himself. He says that he loves to tell you stories, and the more stories from his playing career and also as a manager. I just have so much respect for the man, says Austin Trusty. I didn't realise he's actually a big fan, an FLN fan. NLF. Crazy American National Football League. There you go. The Buffalo Bills are his team. There you go. Surely Martin's taking the piss here, isn't he? The Buffalo Bills, B.A. Baracus is James Forrest. But anyway, he did go on to say Buffalo Bills are his team. We are sitting in the car going to a Europa League game a few months ago, and he started talking about the Bills. And I was like, wow. He talked about the NFL, and he knew so much about it. And that was really cool. He says, the Eagles are my team, says Austin Trusty. They're actually going to be playing in London next season. So it was really cool to share that with him. Bet you'll all sleep better tonight, knowing that B.A. Baracus is in the house. There was a better one of that. Sorry, Michelle. There was another better one on Facebook. If you've been on the Facebook page, make sure you go and see that. As James Forrest is B.A. Baracus, and Austin Trusty is all about talking strange football leagues with Martin O'Neill, which is just unbelievable. Before we go any further, I would like to remind you of the Hoops merch website, and then if you are just looking to wind up any neighbours, or if you fancy a little something for the summer, because summer's hit Scotland. You can get your 5 in a row champions top. There you go, a little 5 in a row one, or you can get a 5 in a row mug, and then you can get an even bigger one just to really annoy people. 5 in a row, double champions, Celtic tops to help the channel out. That is on the Hoops merch website that you'll get in the comments section. Right, getting on to some other news. James Forrest, he does believe. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Good evening to absolutely everyone in the chat, must be said. It is an unscheduled live tonight, so I don't know how well this will do. Usually go live at 8 o'clock, but I think during the summer I will go a bit earlier just so that I can, we can get, and I'm still celebrating. Anyway. Purely for medicinal purposes. See how that worked? Way better. James Forrest said that after winning the Scottish Cup for the 8th time, James Forrest has won the Scottish Cup 8 times on Saturday. Not on Saturday, but on Saturday won it for the 8th time. And after being named in the starting 11 against Dunfermline, he is Celtic's most highly decorated player, who's racked up 28 trophies. 28 trophies. And when James Forrest walks into the room with his gold of trophies, he walks in like that. I need to get the Facebook page up. Sorry. I should have had this prepared. As always, I'm so ill prepared. Is it on this one actually? Let me just see. There we go. There's the better one. Let's get that on full screen. This was sent in by another Michelle, I believe, on the channel. And this is a better one of James Forrest. There's James Forrest. That's James Forrest with all his gold from all the medals he's won in Scotland. Tavernier looks on and goes, but yeah, that's how James Forrest rocks about in the summer, thinking about all the medals that he has won. And fair play to James Forrest for doing that. I don't think that one really looks like him. But anyway, James Forrest has said, he says, when you play at Celtic Football Club, there's always going to be pressure on you. You get judged every game. But I think that's just how it is at a big club. But for just this season, it's been different. Four different managers at different times. The character in the changing room. Not once have the boys turned against each other. That's an interesting one. Do you know, with all the turmoil in all the turmoil in the Celtic camp, do you know, it's bad enough the fans and the board have been at each other's throat. But it's good to hear that James Forrest has come out after this season and said, do you know what, we've been together. We've never blamed one person or another. We never said, well, it's your fault that Wilfred Nancy got sacked because you were a dick. As sometimes can happen when you get a bunch of young lads together and in such an intense atmosphere. It's good to see that the club has a very bunch of level-headed gentlemen. James Forrest went on to say, when you're at Celtic, there's always going to be pressure. You get judged every game. But for this season, with four different managers, the character in the dressing room, not once have the boys turned on each other. After the club's 43rd Scottish Cup win, James Forrest added, I think it's been the main thing that we've really stuck together, especially with the manager and coaches. They've come in November, December. They've done it again in January. They've come back to help the boys, and we've come back together. And you see the fans behind us. It's a great feeling, says James Forrest. And yeah, we've already spoke about Austin Trusty, which is interesting. Before we go on to the Jota story, one of the biggest wind-ups of the weekend has to go to John Paul Taylor. Yes, the Celtic fans liaison officer. With all the crap that's been given out by Hearts and Derek McInnes not saying too much in public, hiding away, Rangers fans over the moon that they've signed Shanklin finally. The Celtic fans liaison officer yesterday put out this tweet after the game. It's actually disgusting. Winning a double is disgusting. Ah, there's my man. There's my man. It is all about banter, and it's the fact that even it is absolutely disgusting. And then the video just shows you, yeah, it's disgusting. It's terrible. It's horrible. Going into the summer, knowing that you've had to endure what we've had to endure, and the Celtic fans go into the summer with a smile on their faces, and we're still happy. Do you know what I mean? Some of us are still celebrating, but it's just purely for it's been a long season. Need to rest it a little bit and go down to like 2 half-hour videos a day, I think. But anyway, we move on because the Jota story isn't too good. As far as Celtic fans are concerned. Celtic share understands that Hoops winger Jota will not recover in time for Celtic's pre-season. His long recovery from his injury drags on. The winger's been out for over a year after suffering the injury at the back end of the 24-25 season. There had been hopes among supporters that he could have been back in the picture for the end of this season. That didn't materialise. There was a lot of rumours going around online about 2 months ago that Jota would be back for the end of the season. And even with the time scale that managers had said throughout the season, there was never any indication that he was going to be back this season. It was always looking towards the summer. Maybe getting back onto the pitch and training towards the end of the season, but that was about it. We understand that the player has suffered several setbacks during his rehabilitation and is not expected to be available to start the 26-27 campaign. As things currently stand, that the estimate for a possible return is around October or November this year. That will naturally depend on how the next stage of his recovery progresses. You've got to say, as a player, I mean, it was devastating for Jota. It was a really, really bad one. 26th of April 2025 was really the last time that we've seen Jota as a Celtic player with his crutches, with his leg in a brace. And you feel for the lad as a player because at the time that he came back to Celtic, he came back and he found, he was at the place that he knew he would get some love as a player. And you never, I think in years gone by, Jota should actually be lucky. He should think himself lucky. Look at the positives. And I think that Jota will look at the positives. If this had happened 20 years ago and Jota was a player 20 years ago, his career would be over. That would be him. Thank goodness for modern keyhole surgery and such like, that they can get in and they can do work on the knee. My brother's had keyhole surgery done on both his knees, and one knee's had it done twice. So it is going to take him a long time. Will he get back to the player that he was? It's very, very doubtful. It's very doubtful. Jota remains, it goes on to say in this article, that Jota remains one of the most talented wide players at the club. His return would have felt like a major boost heading into the new campaign. Instead, Celtic now must be planning for months or even most of the season without him again. It does mean that we go into the summer and we're going to have to bring in some other wingers. We're going to have to spend some good money because Jota is finished at the club. We should find replacement as soon as possible, says Big Rab. I don't think he's finished as a player. I don't think he's finished as a player. I think that will he be as good as the player that he was 3-4 years ago? I very much doubt it. He'll be older. He'll be more. It's a hard one. He will want to come back and prove everybody wrong, and I think that will give him all the motivation that he needs. If he thinks that he can prove people wrong, and he's had these little setbacks, sometimes I just hope that he gets back and he manages to get some football in him. But what it does do, Celtic are now left without. Larson came back and better player after a leg injury. Let's have faith and believe Jota will return with good form. I think sometimes a break is easier than an ACL. I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to say that I know, because in fact I don't. Here's to a healthy and speedy recovery, Jota. But anyway, supporters initially hoped that the winger would be back in February this year, but the timeline came and went. The player returning to first team action. The last understanding makes it clear that Celtic cannot bank on him being involved for pre-season. And furthermore, it goes on to the players that we're talking about leaving the club in the summer. Dai's Maeda leaving. It means that we're going to be left with Mikel Ange Balak Wisha and Yang. None of those two are. It's no disrespect to Yang, but he's not a Champions League player. He's not the player that Jota was first time round. for one game against Rangers, he did what Jota was doing every single week. And I think that when it comes down to if you can do it every single week like Jota did, you're going to be a bit of a player. Yang, he needs to up his game. He really needs to up his game. I couldn't look at a drink. I couldn't look at a drink today. Few of yous having very big hangovers today. I need it for just purely for my throat, mate, because it's a bit sore. Can we not just resign Larson Jr. and develop him here? Larson Jr. is not so much junior anymore. Is he? Jordan Larson. He's 28-year-old. Developed. Jordan Larson's 28. Who was it that said that? Can we just? Who was it that said that? I can't find the comment now. Jota could not have had a decent surgeon. I'm not too sure, Chilpel, because my brother, when he had his knee operation, I mean, he wasn't even back fighting. He was just training Thai fighting, Thai boxing. He runs a Thai boxing gym, and he buggered his knee just in the gym. Do you know? So, and he had to get his knee done again. So I'm not too sure. Yeah, there it was. Can we not just sign Larson Jr. and develop him here? Yeah, Larson Jr. is 28-year-old. He should be at the height of his career. His highest valuation was when he was at Spartak Moscow, and that was in 2021, and he was valued at 15 million. He's now only valued at 3 million, and he's at Copenhagen. So I think that people need to forget the chat about a young Jordan Larson, because that's not young. That's should be hitting the height of his career, and it looks like his career's kind of faltered. Anyway, what do I know? What has he scored this season? Full stats. It's not even got his current club, is it? FC Copenhagen, his current club. Anyway, no, I think that those days are well past. Bringing Jordan Larson to Celtic. I feel for Jota more than anything, actually, because a fantastic player. We've now only got Michelangelo Balikwisha and Yang as wingers at the club. Dies Maeda wants to leave. Dies Maeda has been all over the media talking about leaving, and fair play to him. There's one thing for sure. We need to forget the talk of players. We need to forget the talk about who to bring in. There is one decision that needs to be made next week. Don't know, we cannot allow it to drag on. If we allow it to drag on any further into the summer, and if we do appoint Martin O'Neill, he has to be given 35 to 40 million pounds. Has to be given the kind of money that he asked for in 2004, and the board said no. Martin O'Neill wanted to develop the club further back then. He wanted to take the club forward. He wanted to spend around 25 to 30 million to take the club to the next level, to try and get to another, managing to get to Seville and not doing it. Martin O'Neill believed that Celtic should be there fighting for at least the Europa, the final stages of the Europa every year. But the Celtic hierarchy, the same people that are at the club right now, the same person that has the majority ownership, didn't feel it was right to invest that type of money back then. What makes us think that the club will invest 30 to 35 to 40 million pounds this summer? Especially when you look at the last transfer window and you look at the type of players. I've got a real fear going into this summer now that if we do sign Martin O'Neill and we do not change anybody on the board, and the board continue to just say that they've learned from the mistakes, but they clearly haven't, I think it's going to be another nightmare of a summer for us. It could all change within the space of a week. Martin O'Neill might turn around. You know, Martin's probably having a nice Sunday lunch with his family right now. Or maybe I've been out already. He's maybe treated himself to a wee glass of wine and sitting with his family saying, right, we're going on holiday. They've maybe got something booked already. I don't know. No, they probably haven't actually, because it's the 24th of May. And if Martin O'Neill's going away anywhere, he better make it sharp, because he's got to be back in Kirkcaldy going to next month. Let me just see this. Where are we just now? We're on the 24th. He's in Kirkcaldy in 3 weeks' time. That to me says that that's not a manager that's thinking he's going to be Celtic manager. Because if you're Celtic manager, you're going away on a holiday. You're going to get some sun. You're getting the hell out of the country just to not even look at any of the media. And you sort of just don't think about anything. You just sit there reading a book and don't know what Martin O'Neill does at his age, sitting on the beach, going for eating fish at a Chiringuito. I don't know. But he's in Kirkcaldy in 3 weeks' time. Is Martin O'Neill. Will Martin O'Neill be in Kirkcaldy as the Celtic manager for the next season, or will Martin O'Neill be in Kirkcaldy telling stories about how once upon a time a 74-year-old came back to life, resurrected his football career? Not only his football career, but he resurrected the hopes and thoughts and dreams of the Celtic fan base. Enough of that nonsense. Right, let's jump into some of your comments this evening. I'm only staying on for the half hour. From someone that deals with sporting injuries, they don't think Jota will play again. That's interesting. That's interesting. Get Balikwisha out. Well, out of retirement. Hopefully Jota comes back like Larson. Well, here's hoping it does. Pablo's just back for Loch Lomond, jet skiing. What's up with Jota? Well, he's fucked. It's not looking good for him. He's not going to be back until November. He's not going to be back until November. That is the big news. Don't know. October, November. It's a long time away. Don't know. Living in the past. Living in the past. Well, there you go. Mr. Tom Boy is on it. Develop him into a care home. Will Desmond give our next manager real cash to spend? I feel old if he's that age. Tell me about it. Jordan Larson. When we think of Jordan Larson, we think of him as this young kid kicking about Celtic Park. Henrik and his tiny little boy, Jordan Larson. He's 28-year-old. He's had a full-fledged career. He's had teams and stuff. It's absolutely mental. Mr. Tom Boy's been on it for 2 days. Jota had a setback then. Well, it's more of a bit of a yeah. It's not just a setback. It's I've had 6 ops on my right knee and got no cartilage. It hurts like fake. When the weather changes, oh, it's all right during the summer, but when it gets that damp way in the winter, mate, that's why you stay in Portugal. The winters aren't as long. Although this winter was terrible, wasn't it? Went on for about 4 months. Sick of it, man. It was the worst winter ever. I like it when winter's only like eight weeks max. Don't know. I can't take another winter like this down here. Don't know. Even the south of Portugal was horrendous as well. But anyway, yeah. Roll on another 6 years when I get my knee replacement done. Boom, says Irishman in Porto. Hope you're having a good day, Paul. The next manager is Martin O'Neill. Then no, Dermot Denman will not give his real cash to spend. They'll not give him unless it's a 2 or 3 year deal. It's not going to be a 2 or 3 year deal for Martin O'Neill. Just going through these. Going to jump through to the end of the comments. Sorry for not reading your comments because I am just staying on for another 4 minutes. In fact, Jota was an overlay that went south. He is that Larson's wee boy. He's the same age as me, wee lad in 04. There you go. He'll be getting married before I know it. He's probably already married. Said today, at least we've got Jota come back to soften the Maeda left wing. Damn it. Yeah, that's it. Rolling contract, always the way. Martin O'Neill had a rolling contract back in the day. I don't think a rolling contract is good for a manager in this way. Jota was great when he came back, 5 goals in 15 games. No, I'm not going out. I'm not going out tonight. No chance. No chance. I'll be in bed for about 9:30 tonight after my late show last night. Anyway, that's the bad news today that Jota was broken by the Celtic share website. They said that Jota remains out, not just out, but out, and not in a good way until at least October or November this year. Can Jota come back and be the same person? Celtic will need to now go out and buy at least 2 decent wingers, I think. It just makes the rebuild that the manager's got in the summer even worse. Anyway, that's been done and dusted for this evening. The big news tonight is Jota is out. Even better news is the fact that Austin Trusty, that's the Jota one, Austin Trusty was with Martin O'Neill. And when they were going to one of the European games, he was in the car with Trusty. And Trusty says that he was telling nice little stories to Trusty. There we go. I've got all these screens off. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic evening. Celtic fans, wherever you are. What's going on to the screens here? Honestly, I can tell it's Sunday. Have a fantastic day. I shall see you in the morning. Hopefully there's not too much Celtic news to talk about tomorrow morning. It'll be just half-hour videos. I might go from the 8 o'clock one to 6:30 during the week as well, during the summer. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully tomorrow we might hear something about the Celtic manager's job, because it would just put a lot of Celtic fans at ease rather than waiting. Because the longer we wait, the more and more managers will take up other positions with other clubs, which is typical Celtic, isn't it? On that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.